Page 91, When Johnny Comes Marching Home. On page 90, they're discussing or introducing you to minor scales. We only deal in these videos, there are probably 1,500 different scales in music worldwide. There are only, a few hundred or 150 or so scales in Western music. Well, we don't have to deal with all those either. At least I don't. The only scales that I deal with in these videos are the major scales, which I've talked about before. It's the ones we've been doing, and minor scales. Now they're introducing you to minor scales. And the difference is, in a minor scale, remember a scale is a set pattern of whole steps and half steps? So a major scale is 2 whole steps and a half, and then 3 whole steps and a half. And that's the pattern for a major scale. Look at C major on the keyboard. We have a whole step, 1, a whole step, 2, and then a half step, and now we want 3 whole steps. So I got 1, 2, 3, and then 1 half step. That's a major scale. I can start on any note here, white or black, use that pattern, and I'll get a major scale. I may not know what the scale is, but it'll be a major scale. Well, minor scale uses a slightly different pattern is all. So the pattern for a minor scale is, I'm going to use A minor because A minor uses only the white keys. C major uses the white keys, A minor uses the white keys. A minor and C major have the same key signature, no sharps or flats. So if I go here, I'm going one whole step. Now I got a half step. Ooh. Then a whole step, and then another half step. Then a whole step, and a whole step. And that's the pattern. So it's a whole, no, let's start here. Whole, half, whole, half, whole. Whoa. So use that pattern, start on any key on the keyboard, and you'll get a minor scale. Now, when 2 scales have the same key signature, we call them related because they have the same key signature, the same parent, if you will. Now, this is a good time. Go back to my scale videos on the C major, the G major, all these that you've done, and go ahead and do their relative minors. That is the minor key that has the same key signature. So for C major, you're going to do the A minor. And the minor scale, by the way, they have the same primary chords, the 1, 4, 5, 7 chords, just like the majors do. It's just now you got to be within the scale of of the minor key. We'll get into the primary chord a little bit later, but that's the way it is. Now, do the G major scale. Well, its relative minor is E minor. E minor has 1 sharp. Then do the F. You do the F major scale of 1 flat. Then go ahead and do the D minor scale. It has 1 flat. And you've had some more major scales in here, but those are the only 3 I'm going to recommend for right now. Do the beginner portion. That's 1 octave up and down. Now, in addition to the minor idea, there's actually 3 variations of minor. Isn't this getting interesting here? We have what's called the natural minor, and that's what I just showed you. It uses the keys as they are in the key signature. There's no alterations, no changes. So if I go to A minor with no sharps or flats, I'm only using the white keys. Well, in addition to that, we have what's called a harmonic minor, which simply is the natural minor, except the 7th step is raised a half a step. Remember, in a scale, every note is numbered. We call them steps. So in C major, it'd be step 1. See, step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. Well, in A minor, it's here. We number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 7th step, the G, instead of playing a G, I'm going to play a G sharp. So the scale, harmonic minor scale, would be that. I think it sounds cool. I don't know. In my scale videos, I do the harmonic minors. I teach those. In addition to that, there's another one called the melodic minor. We don't use that much in piano. It's used more in vocal music. But I do run across it sometimes in piano, and it's kind of fun. If you're improvising or something, Wouldn't hurt you to know it. And the idea with the harmonic or the melodic minor is you're simply going to raise the 6th and 7th steps going up, but you're going to play the natural notes coming down. So it makes a difference if you're going up or down. So in there I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And going down it's we don't really do much with melodic minor, so I'm just letting you know it exists. A lot of times in music they use the harmonic minor. So you're going to see, if it's in a minor key, you're going to probably see that 7th step has a sharp or whatever in front of it, natural something in front of it to raise it up a half a step. In Johnny Comes Marching Home, look at the left hand. Let's go down to the last line. Just go down there. You see the chord, you have a D, the first one. A G sharp. Well, that G, this is an A minor, no sharps or flats. That G is the 7th step. So the G sharp, they're using the harmonic minor. So you're probably seeing most of the G's have a sharp in front of them. I don't see any G's in the right hand, but if there were, they'd probably be G sharps. Then that's about it for a harmonic minor. They're saying minor form. I don't call it a form, but you can call it a form if you want to. It's a harmony. It's a system. Whatever. You can read that stuff at the top. I'm too lazy to read, so I don't bother. Now, on Johnny Comes Marching Home, it's in 6/8 time, so we're going to count to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is Fountain 2. 1, Johnny. Type thing. We're going to go really, really slow, so we're going to feel it in 6. Just play it the way it's written. I don't have anything to do in the left hand. Remember, you have staccato chords sometimes, not always, but it's just you just come down with a wrist and boom. You're kind of bouncing off the keys. Watch the phrasing in the right hand. I don't agree with it, but we'll just play what they've got. You know, you lift your hand and drop it between each phrase. I would prefer you phrase it according to the words, the sentences and the words, but we'll do it the way they're for practice. It's good. There's a couple little tricky spots in here, but I think you'll get it just following what they're telling you to get. But I want to cover a little bit on these chords. In the left hand, the first couple of lines are straightforward. You just got these chords. No big deal. This chord or this chord. Now they are using a G natural there. You know, I'd use a G sharp all the time. You could if you wanted to. Starting with the 3rd line down. The first chord is here. Next one is here. Now I would use 2nd finger on the G sharp there. It's just a little more comfortable than using 3rd. It's up to you. And then the same fingering, the 5, 2, 1 for the dotted half note. 5, 2, 1 for the next dotted half note. 5, 2, 1 again, and then for the last chord, that's a good fingering, I like that. 5, 4, 1. Last line here, 2nd measure, the last line, there's a 5, 3, 1, it's a natural, a G natural, and then I suggest a 5, 2, 1 on the next one for the G sharp, and then a 5, 2, 1 again, 5, 2, 1, you're just using 5, 2, 1 back and forth. It's just 5, 3, 1 on the first one as well. For the right hand, there's really nothing tricky except at the very bottom. Look at the last 3 measures. You're coming off of these, they're in the 3rd to the last measure, CB. And now they want a thumb on the E, which is way down here. Between a phrase, so you can lift up and drop it, and as you're lifting up you can move like that, so that hopefully you can handle that okay. Let's play this together slowly. I'm going to give us 5 counts because there's 1 beat pickup. Remember, an 8th note gets a beat. Now we will try this really, really slowly. Now if the rhythm's getting you or something, just try it right-handed. Count this out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because if an 8th note gets count, then you don't have to do the 1 and stuff anymore. You know, it's just the numbers. I put the metronome on 80, but it's beating 8th notes. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is really slow, but we'll try it out and see what happens. So your right hand's here, left hand's here, and of course there's no pedal. 1, 2, 3, ready, go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5. Four, five,